Hello everyone and welcome back to the EDH Jank Center, your source for everything Commander and everything Jank. I'm your host Jordan or Prairies, you can call me either, and today, we got some spicy budget upgrades for Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines. Or you could also say Elesh Norn Machine Mommy, but you know, people might frown at you. Anyways, I'm going to be showing you today 5 cards that are under $1 that you can slot into an Elesh Norn build and do some work. So without further ado, let's move on to the mommy in question. I gotta stop saying that. Or should I? Okay, Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, is 4 and a white, legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. From Phyrexia, all will be one. She has Vigilance. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. And she's a 4/7. Yeah, this card's a house. For 5 mana, you get a Panharmonicon with Vigilance and 4 power and 7 toughness that also snuffs out your opponent's Muldrifters and the like. Super good. This is such a great design. Praetors are very scary, and this card is no different. All those abilities are great, but for today's video, we will be focusing on that first ability. We are going to be doubling up on all of our enters the battlefield triggers. All right, let's get gelatinous with our first selection. It's Ichor Wellspring, 2 colorless mana artifact. This one is from Commander 2021. It says, when Ichor Wellspring enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So this card is already pretty good in any artifact build. It's just great value. You get to play it, draw a card, sack it, draw a card. But here in this build, we are doubling up on all of our enters the battlefield triggers, so this is just a 2 mana draw 2. I'd argue you don't even need it to be an artifact build for you to run this in an Elesh Norn Mother of Machines deck. But then if you are running an artifact build with things like Semblance Anvil and Foundry Inspector, you are in the freaking race, dude. I don't know what that meant, but look at this flavor text. It's got Elesh Norn, so you gotta put it in the deck. All right, guys, hear me out. Elesh Norn Dungeon Tribal, because that is where we're headed with our next card, Cloister Gargoyle, 2 and a white artifact creature gargoyle from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. When Cloister Gargoyle enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon, enter the first room or advance to the next room. As long as you've completed a dungeon, Cloister Gargoyle gets +3/+0 and has flying, and it's a 0/4. So listen, it wouldn't be the most powerful build in the world, but it's like really fun and janky. I don't know. Doubling up on the dungeon triggers provides lots of value, and with the success of the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms and Battle for Baldur's Gate sets, I think we're going to see a lot more dungeon stuff in the future, which would make this strategy even more viable. And I mean, come on, look who you're watching. Well, I gotta throw the jank in there somewhere. All right, let's get out of these dungeons and get high in the sky. It's Aerial Extortionist up next. 3 white creature bird soldier from New Capenna Commander. It has flying. Whenever Aerial Extortionist enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may cast it. Whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card, and it's a 4/3. So I think this is just a really fun card in general. I think New Capenna had some bangers, and I talk about that in this video right here. So pretty simple tech here, guys. We get to just double up on that sweet removal trigger. Now the removal isn't permanent because our opponents do get to cast it for as long as it remains exiled. However, we get to draw a card when they do so. I think that's great value personally, and we can always mitigate the risk of that problem card that we exiled being recast by dealing combat damage and exiling it again. And by the way, not only do we get to draw a card when they cast that exiled spell, but it's just whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand. So when people are playing cards off the top of their library, we get to draw a card. When people are casting Foretell cards, when people are casting Suspend cards, I mean, the list goes on and on. This is just a great card. But yeah, double up on those sweet ETBs, boys. All right, up next, we're going classic mono white strat. It's Dwarven Priest, 3 and a white creature dwarf cleric from Core Set 2019. When Dwarven Priest enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each creature you control, and he's a 2/4. Mono white tokens and life gain with Elesh Norn, Mommy of Machines, would be too easy to build. Yeah, not too much else to say. This is just really cool artwork, really great ability, especially if you double it. I mean, gain all that life, baby. And wow, would you look at that? We are almost at the last card of the day, but before we get into it, guys, if you've enjoyed this content, make sure you check out the Patreon. The link is in the description below. We've got lots of cool benefits for patrons, including a patron-only Discord available to all tiers of my Patreon. We have chats about cards in there, sets, spoilers, deck techs. We have just a cutie little community in there. So if you'd like to be a part of that and enjoy all the other perks of being a patron, click that link, check it out. All your support helps me make more videos like this for you guys. Speaking of tokens, let's check out this super flavorful include, Master Splicer, 3 and a white creature human artificer from New Phyrexia. When Master Splicer enters the battlefield, put a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token onto the battlefield. Golem creatures you control get +1/+1, and he's a 1/1. So besides his long fingies and Elesh Norn hat, this is a really great card in this build. For 4 mana, you get 3 creatures, 2 of which get buffed by the Anthem effect. Add on top of that something like Conjurer's Closet that can blink your creatures back and forth, and pow, you've got an army of golems at your disposal, and how flavorful is that? I mean, come on. Alright guys, and just like that, we have reached the end of yet another video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what cards you think I should put in an Elesh Norn Mother of Machine build. Did I miss anything? I'm always down there in the comments hanging out with you guys, so come on down and have a chat with me. Alright guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you on the next video.